I am dining in. Are you? Good morning, everyone. This is class number 5. We're going to talk about willpower and the benefits of exercise for your brain. So those are the two topics today. Hopefully everyone's doing a great job of kind of going through their life and getting things going in the right direction. But today's about willpower. So I'm going to jump forward to slide number 5. Remember that these YouTube videos are paired with the PDF of the PowerPoint that we use for the class. These are intended to help people remember things, but also help people who are on vacations and spring breaks and things like that. And so we understand that a fair amount of people are going to be gone over the next week or two. And so we just wanted to add in this class to make sure everyone can get the information that they need. So we're on to slide number 5, and we're really talking about willpower. Do we have it? Do we want it? And the answer is absolutely. We definitely have it. We definitely want it. Willpower is our ability to control our thoughts, emotions, and behavior. And it allows us, when we have really good willpower, it allows us to manage ourselves and manage our behavior in an appropriate way that's consistent with who we are as a person and what our goals are and what our process is for our life. And so when we do that, we're going to be in a good place. It allows us to make decisions that are helpful for us and keep us going in the right direction. And so now we're going to go on to slide number 6. And the answer to, do I really have willpower? Sometimes we feel like we don't, but I think most of us do such a poor job of managing willpower that we really don't have willpower consistently throughout our day. But the answer generally is that we all start with about the same amount of willpower in any given day. The exception is when we have a really poor night's sleep, are sick, things like that, or have a hangover or ate too much the night before. Then our willpower is impacted from that previous day's bad behavior, so to speak, and we start off in a place where we're struggling more. And so what we want to understand is we start with similar amounts of willpower, and then what we do throughout the day either enhances our willpower, preserves our willpower, or depletes our willpower. And so now we're on to slide number 7, and we want to really understand that there's basic rules about willpower. And I believe that this is a very simple and organized way, is that whenever we make a decision or a choice, we tick off a little bit of that willpower. And so if we have to pause our thoughts and make a decision, then we're going to deplete our willpower a little bit. Now that's true of food decisions. So the people that aren't eating during the day, and so they don't have to make any decisions related to food, they actually are finding that their willpower is preserved later on in the day. Those who are making choices about food and have to eat and decide what they're making for lunch and decide what they're making for breakfast and decide what they're making for dinner, they're ticking off that willpower throughout the day. But it's when we have to exert control over our thoughts, and so when we have to kind of really contain our thoughts and what we're saying to people, or when we have to exert control over our emotions, we have to kind of control them or exert control over our behavior, then we're all going to impact our willpower. Now, if we work in a way that's very consistent with our core beliefs, and so we have very powerful core beliefs about how we interact with people, well then, and we're authentic in that interaction, well then we're not using up our willpower because our brain already knows what it's doing. It's not having to make a real choice. And I equate that to psychologists. In my profession, there are many psychologists that really try to be one person in therapy when they're with a patient and another person outside of that. And I really encourage my colleagues to be authentically to who you are. You're not going to burn out then. If you're trying to make yourself look this way when you're with a patient, but you're really a person that jokes around and has fun and laughs, but you're being the stoic person here, you're going to really struggle and you're going to burn out very quickly. And I think that's true of us as humans in general, is we want to be authentic. And so what I would say is that be who you are, understand who you are, and really be authentic as much as you can, and you'll preserve a lot of willpower. So exactly what enhances, preserves, or depletes willpower. So let's start with the things that deplete willpower, because that's really the powerful thing. So anytime we make choices, anytime we have to exert emotional or behavioral control, anger, it just takes care of willpower right away. Chaos. When we have a lot of chaos in our head or chaos in our environment, no structure, we're going to really deplete willpower. Negative experiences, when we really hone in on those negative experiences, we can really deplete our willpower. And that's something that we really want to work on, is those types of things. What kind of preserves willpower, kind of keeps it the same? Habits, routines. When we have habits and routines, our brain isn't making a choice. It's just following along and doing those basic things that we've done hundreds of times before. And that's why most people will say, well, when I'm driving in a car, I'm just kind of on autopilot. Well, you're on autopilot. You're not having really to think about a whole lot. Your brain's really processing at a subconscious level all the things around you, and you can just kind of be with yourself. And I really find driving just a relaxing activity, and it doesn't impact your willpower because it's all based on habits and routines. Structure and organization can really help us if we kind of have a way of going about our day, a way of approaching things. That really does a good job. And if we have powerful beliefs about who we are, and I used the statement in class number 4 about how many people, if they walk into a party and somebody says, "Oh, it's time for strip poker." Oh, my God, strip poker. Well, okay, am I a person that does that, or am I a person that not? I think that most of us have a really clear statement about strip poker. We either are a person that does it or we're a person that doesn't do it. There's kind of no in between. And it's really easy for our brain to go, oh, time to leave. I'm not that person that does strip poker. I'm out of here. And if that's the way our brain, if we have those powerful beliefs about who we are as a person, about whether we eat certain foods, if we have those powerful beliefs about our diet, about our exercise, about how we live our life in terms of health, then what we do is we're going to never have to question that. And it's nope, I don't do that. If you go into a pastry store and your brain is all thinking, I wonder if I'm going to eat pastry or not today, well, the likelihood is you're going to deplete your willpower and probably eat pastry. But if you go into that pastry store and you're already saying you already have this powerful belief, yeah, I don't do that stuff anymore. That's not who I am. Then your brain doesn't even question it. Your brain isn't even moved by those things. Now, when we talk about what enhances our willpower, is having an encouraging environment. Not only our own internal environment, but our outside environment. Do we have encouraging people around us, people who support us, people who care for us, people who have love for us, all of those things? That's what we want. Success really brings about and enhances willpower. So when we have a success, we want to really feed into that. When we have this self-talk going on that's positive, when we have good sleep and good energy and good habits, we go to bed at the right time. Exercise is great at enhancing willpower because it develops that mental strength and discipline. And so we see ourselves as a person who just does that, and that's okay, that's great. So one of the things that I want you to do now, we're on to slide number 9, which is start to recognize when your willpower is getting depleted. And I give the example of, never want to buy a hospital after you've been sitting in meetings all day, having to control your emotions, thoughts, and behavior, and your willpower is just going to be depleted. Always make that decision the next morning after you've slept on it a little bit. We also have to identify how we are as a person. What do we need when our willpower does get depleted? So in that sense, are you an extroverted person? Because extroverts really recharge their batteries and restore their willpower when they are around people. And so that's important for people to understand, is if you're an extrovert, you may need to seek out and reach out to people. On the flip side, if you're an introvert, introverts actually repair or restore their energy by being with their own thoughts and being in the quiet place. So find your methods to really repair your energy and know yourself. Come on, people, learn about who you are. Pay attention to it. And so what do we do to manage? We want to build a willpower, build those encouraging environments around us, work on that very hard, be good to yourself, self-belief, self-talk, build those core beliefs. To preserve willpower, we really have to think about our habits and our routines, having structure, and preload your day. Whenever you can, preload that decision. So if you are saying, I'm going to eat lunch tomorrow, make that choice on the previous night, make your lunch, put it in the fridge. You don't have to, then that next day, you don't deplete your willpower by deciding, oh, am I going to Subway? Am I going to this? Where am I going to find my food? If you're choosing to dine in, then we're really good, because then you just say, hey, I've already made my decision. I didn't bring any food along with me. Limit those things that deplete willpower. Strong emotion. We've already talked about the activity of emoting, but anger is the big one. We want to really limit that. Chaos and lack of structure depletes our willpower quickly. And then negativity, inside and outside you, really depletes that. Now we're going to switch gears and go to slide number 11 and talk about exercise real briefly. One of the things I want to think about is exercise is really for your mind. We already know that 10 to 20% of your weight loss is going to be due to exercise, but really 80 to 90% of your weight loss is due to what you eat. And so we want to really understand that sometimes when we exercise, we actually give ourselves more permission to eat. We say we have to fuel our body, and that actually can lead to less of an impact of exercise on your weight. Exercise is very helpful in terms of building muscle, endurance, and heart conditioning. We really want that. It does stress your body, and that's a good thing. We want to stress our body because then our body has to react to that, and it forces our body to heal ourselves and create it. So next week we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and benefits for health, and exercise does many of the same things. When you're exercising, on to slide number 12, when you're exercising, you are thinking. And when you're thinking, you are really making sure that you're improving your life in some way, you're improving your body, you're thinking about your health. We learn to push ourselves when we're exercising. Through pain that goes along with exercise, we're pushing ourselves through, we're learning how to control our mind. And we're also feeling our body move. We're feeling our brain stimulating, massaging our brain and nervous system by controlling our body. Did you know that exercise is one of the best treatments for depression? It's slightly better than cognitive behavioral as a standalone treatment. It's much better than medications as a standalone treatment. Obviously, the best treatment is to combine all three. But one of the key things about depression is that you're observing yourself exercise, and your brain goes, hey, you know what? I'm doing something that's inconsistent with actually depression. Exercise can lead to endorphin release, which helps with stress, pain, and it gives you a sense of well-being. So those are all super beneficial. What types of exercise should we do? Now we're on to number 14. We should do whatever you can. Listen to your body, but we do want to do mental exercises, physical exercise. Do we want to do cardiovascular? Some resistance training is very important, and some stretching, yoga. That's a massage for our nervous system. So I really want people to consider yoga. Switch it up, and so really we don't want to do just treadmill every day, because then our body gets so efficient at that exercise that we no longer really stress our body. So we have to change it up. It's called the night watchman effect, where they found that night watchmen are so good at walking that they end up not burning many calories. Remember that resistance training can be done anytime. You can always do squats at any moment, and you'll get the benefit. Wow, we got done with class number 5. Woohoo, I'm so excited. This is all about willpower and exercise. Next session's going to be a great one. We're going to review a bunch of different information about how to keep you going in the right direction. Keep dining in. Enjoy eating your fat.